Who goes there? G'day guys, how's it bloody going? And welcome to MAT5 Reviews Killzone Shadow Fall. Killzone Shadow Fall is a PS4 exclusive, currently retailing around $100 to $80. At JB Hi-Fi you can get it for like $80. I'd recommend trying to get it as cheap as you can. If you don't know, Killzone was a PS2 game way back in the day, and it's released since then Killzone 2 and Killzone 3 for the PS3. It had a game on the PSP and one on the PS Vita, which came out, I think it was last year, and Killzone Shadow Fall, of course, has come out in November. But yeah, I'm sorry that it came out like a month ago. I only just finished it. I sort of wasn't really highly motivated to keep playing this game. It was one of those games I just kept coming back to after I didn't really have anything else to play. It's just, yeah, it was one of those games, but now I'm done, so I'm going to review it for you. If you don't know anything about Killzone, it's pretty much a giant war between the humans and the Helghast. And the Helghast are practically humans, but you know, they wear this badass armor with giant orange eyes, and yeah, pretty badass. Now, I can't talk about the plot of Killzone Shadow Fall without giving away the ending of Killzone 3, so if you don't want to know anything about the ending to Killzone 3, you might want to skip ahead or switch off for just a second. So at the end of Killzone 3, the humans wiped out the planet of Helgen, which is where the Helghast live, and pretty much the Helghast can't live there anymore. It's just destroyed. It's ruins now. So for some reason the ISA, which is the humans, grants access for the Helgen survivors to come and live with them on this planet called Vector. And so how it works is that the ISA have half of the planet and the Helghast have the other half of the planet. And the two cities are separated by this giant wall that separates, one side's got the ISA and one side's got Helghast, or New Helgen as they like to call it. So yeah, it's like years later after the wall has been built and everything's been built, you got New Helgen on one side, the humans on the other side. The humans don't want the Helghast on this planet, and the Helghast just want to get along or want to take over the planet. You don't know what is going on. And that's pretty much what you're trying to figure out in this game. You're just trying to figure out what the Helghast are up to. But they do end up attacking, and it's just this whole thing that I really couldn't really follow. And it's one of those games that I didn't really follow. So the character you play is a new character. You've never seen him before in any other old game. His name is Lucas Kellen. So as a child, something happens and you end up joining the academy to become a shadow marshal. So you end up just taking orders from this guy called Sinclair. Now he's pretty much your boss. He tells you what to do. You don't question anything, you just do what he says. And pretty much things happen and you end up questioning if you're doing the right thing. It's sort of a moral thing, but it's not like, don't expect like, you know, moral choices or anything. It's nothing like that, but that's kind of like what the story is going for. So yeah, like I said, you meet a bunch of characters. Honestly, I don't remember any of their names. Like I said, this is a plot that I just couldn't follow, and to be honest, I'm not a huge sci-fi guy. Like, to be honest, I only got this game, like, I've played all of the other Killzones, but I don't know why. It's hard to explain. Killzone is just one of those games. I like exclusives, but it doesn't do this series doesn't do anything special for me, especially when it comes to story. It's not interesting to me. I just play single player to kill things and use cool weapons and shit. And yeah, but you know. So yeah, I got this game practically because it was a PS4 exclusive and I wanted an exclusive because I wanted to see what it was like. And now I can tell you what it's like from my point of view. And it's nothing incredibly special. I'm sorry to say, but this game is just not incredibly special or unique in any kind of way. It's just, it doesn't try anything incredibly new in the Killzone universe or just in any kind of way. It does try new things, but they don't add a lot to it, or it's just not amazing, you know. But I'll get to that in my pros and cons, which I'll get to now. So let's go on with the pros and cons. Starting with the pros. This is the first time that I've been overwhelmed with pros and cons. I think I have over 10 pros and cons in each list. It's just, I can't go through all of them. I'll go through the ones that I think are important. The graphics in this game can sometimes be so beautiful. I think the best thing about the graphics in this game is the lighting effects. Just the bloom and the sunshine and the lights of New Helgen and the Helghast's eyes. It's just, the lighting is really, really good in this game, and you really notice all of the lights and the effects of everything. It's like, if I can say, the graphics are good at best, but they didn't blow me away as much as the lighting did. I think the lighting just stole the show for me. Everything else was just sort of, it was good, but yeah, I'll give it pros for the lighting. It was good. For a sci-fi game, it does have a great sci-fi atmosphere, from the music and just the world. The world is very sci-fi, and it feels like the future. And the futuristic electric music, it just, electric music beats and stuff like that, it just fits well with all sci-fi practically. Sort of like Mass Effect, you know, that music just always worked, and it's the same here. The game has a great variety of weapons. It has a bunch of machine guns, a bunch of chain guns, shotguns, stuff like that. It just had a good variety of weapons at your disposal. But yeah, there were just so many weapons. There are cons, but I'll get to that later. I'll just squish two together here quickly. You instantly spawn after dying. I really love that, because I fucking hate loading times after you die. And your movement speed is actually more fluid in this game. If you've played the other Killzones, you're really heavy, you feel cumbersome, but in this game it's the same, but it's better. You're a bit faster and agile. It just works. And I almost punched over my water glass again. I'm gonna fucking drop this all over my shit one day, and I'm just gonna cry. I usually don't like audio logs, but I just love how the audio logs play through the speakers on the controller. It's so much more realistic, and it just adds a lot more to it. Like, there is one audio log I clearly remember. It was like horrific to listen to, and listening to it in this little speaker, I got chills. It was so good, and it affected me so well. It was just really well done, and that's a high point for me. Just that one audio log that caught the atmosphere of where I was, and just, it was brilliant. I loved that. They need to have more of that, but that one audio log, great. I was gonna make the ending a con, but then it just mind fucked me, and I was like, good job, guys. Good job. So I gotta briefly talk about the online multiplayer. It's good. This is what most people will probably come back to. This is where the replayability is. Now, I'll just quickly say that there's 3 classes in this game, not like a bunch like there is in the previous games, but I like that more, because you don't feel as like overpowered or underpowered. You're all sort of matched now. Like, you know those pain in the ass invisible snipers that were everywhere in the previous games? Well, they got rid of that and just made it like a knife wielding invisible guy. It's just more fair, and I like that they've made the multiplayer more fair, because even I can actually do pretty well in that game now. So I'm glad, and I enjoy it very well, especially with friends. It's great. I love it. Good job. Alright, that's most of the good pros I want to talk about. Now let's talk about the bad cons. Motherfucking cons. Just briefly, the graphics, again, beautiful, but the lip syncing in some of the scenes and just a few graphical glitches and effects weren't mind-blowing. And yeah, the lip syncing just seemed off, and the facial features weren't that great, except for cutscenes, but those are cutscenes. You know, they're sort of, I don't think they really count, but in-game lip syncing and stuff doesn't really work. Alright, this is one of my major fucking cons. The levels are big and open and explorable. I like that, but you get fucking lost all the time. I mean, the waypoint showing you where to go often doesn't pop up, and if it does, it's a small orange circle, about that big. It is small and orange, and you half the time can't see it in the environment, and it just shit me all the time, and I got lost so much in this game. It's just, yeah, they needed to make the waypoint better, like arrows or something. It's just that little orange circle was just fucking annoying, and I could never see it, and just, yeah, alright, never mind about that, but that was fucking annoying. Of course, I've got to talk about the owl, which is a new addition to the game. It's pretty much a little robot that flies around and does specific actions for you. Using the touchpad, you can go up, down, left, right, which selects a different function. Now, the pros of this is that I think the shield is really useful, and the electric blast, which stuns enemies, that's useful. But half the time I found that the owl just got stuck on terrain, and it wasn't very powerful. Like, it died a lot, and it was just pretty much the shield and the electric explosion thing were the only things that saved my life. If you sent it to attack someone, it just got owned. So it wasn't impressive, but it was useful in places, mostly during like the final acts of the game. But yeah, most of the time I forgot I even had it. So yeah, it was just sort of a shame, a bit of a letdown. They could have done it better. So yeah, enemy AI is a bit hit and miss. I found that half the time they were like had their back to me and stuff like that, so I shot them in the back and they didn't even notice, and just stuff like that. Like they weren't the smartest AI in the world. And on that note, it is like impossible to do stealth in this game. Like, the environment is open and you can attempt stealth, but with the enemy AI and just things don't work properly and stealth just fails. Fucking fails completely. I could never get it right. There was one mission in the entire game where stealth worked, and it was one of the best missions in the entire game, but I'll let you see for yourself. But it was too late. It needed to be like earlier in the game. It was just too late. You know, I was already disappointed with the game, and then that came along, and I was like, yes, why wasn't there more of this? You know, it was just a brilliant fought mission, and yeah, they need to have more missions like that. Oh, and also, why no split screen? What is wrong with split screen? You know, the last game had split screen. I want some multiplayer games for my console. Do you know I only have one split screen game, which is COD? Awesome. I mean, I could get Knack, but you know, I'm trying to save money. Steam sale. Okay, talking about the guns, for a sci-fi game, there was like no, futuristic kind of laser guns or anything. It's mostly, just the norm shotgun, assault rifles, rocket launchers, all that crap. Nothing special, nothing you haven't used before, really, except for maybe one or two guns. But talking about the guns, the way they did weapons in this game, it's just horrible. Not the guns themselves, but the way you can only carry one gun. One gun. That is all you can carry at any time in the entire game. Oh, I'm sorry, you can carry two guns, but one of them is a gun that you always have to have. Why? You are constantly stuck with this assault rifle that secondary transforms into like some sort of like electric sniper rifle thing, which is badass, but it's so hard to use and really slow. And yeah, just one other gun? I could only carry one other gun at any time? That's fucking ridiculous. Why couldn't I at least carry two other guns? Have that stupid assault rifle and then have two other guns. Why only one? Two would have been reasonable. One? Really? It's just shit. It's stupid. So yeah, pretty much to sum it all up, the gameplay just wasn't fun. It wasn't really exciting. It didn't give you that adrenaline rush of like a first-person shooter like others have done. It's just, it didn't do anything special. It didn't do anything new that you haven't seen from any other Killzone games or other FPS games in general. It's just, that's why it took me so long to finish this game, because I wasn't motivated enough to finish it, because it wasn't exciting enough. They added new little things, like the littlest things, but they didn't do anything extraordinary. And if they did like, floating puzzles. Sometimes there was puzzles, sometimes you get to fly around and shit, but that's not awesome. It's different, but it's not awesome, guys. It's just, yeah, and the Hellghast, I'm really starting to hate them. I just don't find them fun to engage anymore. I don't know why, and there's not even a lot of variety of them. There's like 3 different kinds of Hellghast, and that's just like robots and shit. But I just don't find them fun to verse. and they just come at you at all angles and you die quite often in this game. And I was playing on normal and I died over and over, and I rage quit a few times in this game. It's just, I don't enjoy fighting the Hellghast anymore. They were fun maybe a few games ago, but just, it's getting a little old. They're just not fun to fight anymore. I don't exactly know why, but they just shit me. So to recommend this game, if you like the Killzone games, you will most likely like this. But like I said, I wasn't the hugest fan. I usually got Killzone just to play it because it wasn't shit, but it wasn't great either. But it's just, yeah, I usually got it to play with friends online, because usually all my friends used to get it, so I used to play it online with them. And that's the same with now. I play it with my good friend, and that's the most fun I have with this game. So if you like the Killzone games, you'll probably like this game because it doesn't really try anything new. But the things that they did add, they'll either piss you off or you'll love them. So it's mostly up to you. But I don't recommend this game if you expected things to change, because the changes that they did, for me, didn't blow me away. And yeah, the single player isn't strong, the plot isn't strong. I liked the idea, but just the execution, I didn't give a shit about the plot at all, really. And I just grinded through the single player. And yeah, that's just what happened to me. But the online multiplayer is great, but you don't want to get an $100 game just for the online multiplayer to blow you away. You know, just stuff like that. It's just, I've been playing first-person shooters for so long, and I've been blown away from other games compared to this one. So yeah, it's up to you. So what did you think of Killzone Shadow Fall? I mean, it's been a month, you've probably finished as well. What did you think of the single player? And do you think the multiplayer is mostly the winner here? If there's anything you want to know about this game, please leave a comment down below and I'll try and get back to you. And if you like this video, remember to like me on Facebook or subscribe to me on YouTube if you want to see more. Alright guys, thanks for watching my video. I hope my review was useful to you. MAT5 is bloody out of here.